Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. An important issue regarding the Islamic political directives is that do Muslims have the authority to revolt against their rulers? So the answer to this question is in the affirmative. However, there are very strong and very stern conditions if Muslims are to rebel against their leaders, and it also must be understood at the very outset that rebellion never becomes obligatory. It is allowed, it is possible, but it never becomes mandatory upon Muslims to do so. Now, this rebellion itself can take place, can take the shape of two broad categories. In the first category, the rebellion does not take a militant form. Those who rebel, they resort to peaceful means. They, for example, do not obey the directives of state and they suffer persecution as a result. And in the second type of rebellion, those who rebel, they take up arms against their rulers. So these are two distinct forms of rebellion, and both of them have their specific conditions which have to be met. Now, as far as the first of these types is concerned, in which the rebels, they remain peaceful, they do not lift any arms against their leaders, there are three conditions which must be met at all costs. The first of them has been spelled out by the Prophet in his famous narrative, in which the words are, "Illa an taraw kufran bawah." So if there is an outright kufr which Muslims witness from their leaders, from their rulers who rule their state, only then should they adopt this means. And of course, this is the first of these conditions. And this itself is based on the Quranic verse, "Atiyullah wa atiyur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum." It says that obey God and the Prophet and those in authority among you. So when they commit kufr bawa, they do not remain among you. They do not remain Muslims. So the first of these conditions is that outright kufr has to be witnessed from the rulers of the Muslims. The second of these conditions is that the nature of the government should be despotic. In other words, it should not be possible to change the government through one's opinion, through one's consultation. It's not possible for the Muslims to change the government through democratic means, and the government is a despotic one. It is a dictatorial government. And this condition itself is based on the Quranic verse, "Amruhum shura bainahum," which means that the system of the government of Muslims is based on their mutual consultation. This means that this is violated in this case. A dictatorial government, a dictatorship, a despotic government, of course, is against the shuraiyat or the shura government, which is envisaged by Islam. The third condition in this regard is that the person who leads the rebellion, he should have the support of the majority behind him. He should be having the support of enjoying the confidence of the majority. This is again in conformity and in accordance with the Quranic verse, "Amruhum shura bainahum," which means that the system of government of the Muslims is based on their consultation. And of course, the person who enjoys the confidence of the majority, he has the right to rule them. So therefore, these are the three conditions regarding this first category of rebellion, in which Muslims remain peaceful, citizens remain peaceful, and they do not lift arms against their rulers. If the second form of rebellion is adopted, in which arms are lifted, in which militant means are adopted, then a fourth condition besides these three conditions has to be satisfied also. That has to be met also, and that is that the rebels, they must organize themselves in an independent piece of land. Their own government should be established. Their own state should be established in an independent piece of land from where they should launch this militant struggle. So these are the conditions of rebellion, and as I said, they are of two distinct natures. This rebellion is of two distinct natures, and both of these categories has its own conditions which have to be met, which have to be fulfilled. And as I said earlier, rebellion never becomes obligatory. It becomes possible. It is allowed on the Muslims. And of course, in both these types of rebellion, it is essential that the conditions which I have just spelled out, they must be fulfilled at all costs. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.